We're going to move on now to the reading of our Daily Word. Daily Word is a publication of Unity Worldwide Ministries that they've been publishing now for 100 years. And our word for today, August, yes, we're in August 4th, 2024, is inner peace. And our affirmation is, the peace of God is mine to live and mine to share. Will you join with me in that affirmation, please, together? The peace of God is mine to live and mine to share. Peace flourishes in my awareness of the divine presence within. Flowing from my spiritual center, peace calms my emotions, clarifies my thoughts, relaxes my body, and radiates to everyone around me. If peace eludes me, I open myself to anything that may be blocking its flow and invite it to come forward for healing. If I'm holding on to resentment or unforgiveness, I pray for the willingness to forgive, affirming divine love through me focuses and releases all bitterness. If fear and worry seep into my thoughts, I remember God is the only presence and power active in the universe, affirming faith dissolves fear and restores peace. I align my thoughts and feelings with God's indwelling presence to live ever more peacefully. And our scripture this morning is from Romans 14:19, and it reads, "Let us then pursue what makes for peace and for mutual upbuilding." Again, our word for today is inner peace, and if you'll join me one more time in our affirmation, please, together. The peace of God is mine to live and mine to share.
Let us take a breath and relax further in. And closing our eyes if we feel that that's the thing we should do, keeping them open if that's what we resonate with more, whatever we feel comfortable with. We feel our heart opening. We know that this space we are in is a sacred, safe space for us to be open. We feel that breath of God itself moving through us. Every inhalation, one from the oneness. As we feel that breath moving through us, we allow it to be a cleansing, invigorating, healing breath. With every exhalation, we allow anything that feels like it doesn't belong to neutralize and move out, back to oneness, back to that outward expression of God. Breathing in that energy of one breath, one spirit, one power, one presence. We allow ourselves to be held. We allow ourselves to be fully supported right where we are, with whatever it is that is moving in our lives that we might feel needs dealing with. It is within God. It is in divine order. There is nothing we need do right now except relax. Be still, knowing that God is that one power, that one presence. As we allow that breath to move through our bodies, we feel ourselves relaxing even more. We know that there is no storm so great that we can't stand within the eye of that storm in the stillness with God, with that presence, that power carrying us through whatever storm might visit, enfolding us in divine love, wrapping us in a blanket of source energy, comfort, love. absolute acceptance, peace. We allow those feelings of peace to radiate outward from us today. We just feel them moving right out into this room. From our heart, from our Godness. Peace, be still. We hold that affirmation. Peace, be still. We keep feeling it moving outward and outward and outward, out through the building, out into the area around us, across the land and into the ocean. Focusing on this tropical storm off the coast, sending the energy of peace, be still. Knowing that that path it will take has people worried, has people concerned. Knowing that there is fear and that there is doubt and that there is a lot of hustle happening around it. We send that vibration, that feeling, that loving embrace of peace, be still. We see everyone easily accomplishing any preparations they need to make. We see support systems and contacts lining up and making sure that everyone has everything they need. And we continue to send peace, be still. Within the breath of God, we are all held. Within the power and presence of God, we are brought through everything we are brought to. Within divine order, we say, peace, be still. We take a moment in the silence to continue sending that energy, that vibration, that loving embrace to everyone and everything in the path of this storm. Peace, be still in the silence. And then with another inhalation of that God breath, that calming presence within, maybe one more peace, be still, sent. We see it settle. We claim the presence of God in every raindrop, in every wind, in every current, in every wave, knowing that this too shall pass, sending peace and love, support and light to all those involved. With gratitude, we revisit this anytime we think of this storm. Until this storm is no longer, we send peace, be still, love and light, and above all, the presence of God, awareness. And so it is. Amen. This week, we are talking about pulling the ripcord. Now, Mike reminded me of something that I hadn't even thought of this morning. That, and my movement through that is basically the concept that it has to be open to work, right? You can wear a parachute, but if you don't pull the ripcord, well, things aren't going to go well for you. So, so pulling the ripcord is instrumental in opening that parachute, in allowing it to open and then therefore support you as you float down to earth. You go from being a projectile to this amazing, quiet sense of having the entire landscape before you, the calm, the peace. My late husband actually had enough hours skydiving to be an instructor, and he used to go do jumps all the time around Lake Okeechobee and all sorts of different places. And I have this distinctive fear of heights, but I have always thought it would be amazing to skydive. Those two things they don't seem like they would go together, but I just get this feeling that it would be amazing and awesome. And I asked him multiple times to describe the feeling to me of jumping out of the plane. And he said, it's not what you think that it would feel like. And he said, and when you go out, often the wind is so fast that you almost get pushed back up for just a brief second, and then you start going down. And he said, and it's so loud, and you can't hear anything, and the rush of the wind going by, and then you pull the ripcord, and you go back up, and everything gets quiet and beautiful and pristine, and it slows down, and you have this amazing experience of feeling a part of this entire system of Earth as you just slowly and gently make your way down. And as Mike pointed out this morning when we were talking about the title of it, well, there is that abrupt pull up when you pull the ripcord and the parachute opens. And I think that's something that can be so serendipitous in talking about why we might fear being open. I don't know about you guys, but I have a lot of beliefs that I hold on to pretty hard and fast. I shall not be moved. And I love being right. So therefore, I stand firm and fast in my unmoving belief, and it's like a concrete wall to deal with because I am one of the most stubborn people I have ever met. And so I will stand, if I decide to stand firm in this belief, and close my mind to other possibilities and not allow for flexibility for things to move. Well, think about that. Just think about it in your own body, in your own life, in your own beliefs. Where are there beliefs that you are a concrete wall, that you shall not allow that to change? A lot of that part of our belief system, a lot of that way of believing, we may not want to believe it, but it's rooted in fear. If you take this away from me, what do I have? Where am I? If I allow myself to be moved from here, oh, for heaven's sakes, what's out there? Where could I go? I don't know where it would be. It's uncharted territory. And so, therefore, I will cling to my belief and stay here where I feel that it's safe. See, parachutes aren't the only thing that need to be open to work. Our eyes need to be open to work. Our mind needs to be open to work, to really embrace the spirit of this existence and how we can grow. I saw something on Facebook this week that just tickled me pink because it's so true if you think about it. Yeah, there was this little meme on Facebook. It was going around in a couple versions, and it was saying, why is it that I only catch my clothes on doorknobs when I'm mad? You ever notice that? You give in to the hurry. Oh my gosh, I'm in a hurry. Oh my gosh, I have to get through and everything goes wrong. Everything gets in your way to stand in the way of getting anything accomplished. When you're mad, well, I don't know about you guys, but I never have a cleaner house than when I'm mad. If I am mad for a protracted amount of time, oh my gosh, home improvement projects can get done. Because I tend to just, have to work it out, have to do something with it. But all of these things need to be open in order to really expand and really work. We are in a time right now, bless you, politically and in and in our politics and our belief systems, in where things are crashing and smashing against one another, where we have developed, many people have developed, not everybody, of course, and it won't stay that way forever, of course, because the only constant is change. But we have developed these just nasty, vile, sometimes venomous attachments to a belief or a belief system where it isn't good enough for us to simply believe what we believe. We have to make somebody else wrong so that we feel that much more right in our belief. And we don't even make them wrong these days, largely, sadly, in kind ways that allow them to just gently be wrong and be over there. We somewhere along the line, so many people have gotten this belief that if I don't like it and I don't believe it, I have to go out of my way to tell everybody that, and everybody that I can find on the other side of that belief. I'm not just going to say they're wrong. I'm going to call them names. I'm going to make them small and nasty and little, and I am going to do everything I can to discredit someone because they don't believe what I believe. Why? What kind of a life do we want? Feel it in our bodies. I very rarely respond to posts that are divisive or nasty, or I very rarely do that, because one thing I've learned is that it's largely a waste of time. If someone is holding a belief that hard in their fear that someone might move them from it, and that they have to make someone else a demon because of it, I'm not gonna help anything by arguing with them about it. And so this week, a friend of mine posted something really vile about a political candidate. Very, very vile. And it struck me when I was looking at it. I thought, it doesn't even matter to me whether I like this person or not. Why did they feel it necessary to be that cruel and that biting, instead of just saying, I don't like that person, I'm going to leave it be? Why did that person feel that they had to be so vile? And because I know them well, I just said it. Like I say, I don't usually do that, but there's this other piece of so many peace leaders have said it through the years, that there's a fine line between not feeding the fire or having your silence give silent permission that fire should just go ahead and burn. It's a fine line. So we need to kind of be very careful about things like this, because again, politics, things of the movement or things of the moment are transient. But I found this from Myrtle Fillmore this week, very comforting for me. This is from her healing letters, and it just kind of seems fitting. It's about converting others. No one wants to feel that what they have and have been depending on is false and unreliable, but all want to add to the treasures they now have, and all will in time drop the worthless pebbles for the precious gems when they have awakened to the difference. Rather than feel that you must stand up for truth if it is ridiculed, let the truth in you stand for itself. How can a thing be ridiculed, really? If one who knows the truth and takes no account of evil keeps poised and loving, that is proof enough. One who speaks an untruth or is mistaken in their judgments has the Christ mind within to correct themselves. You do not need to do this, Trish. Oh, it might not say that, but that's what I heard. Leave it with them. And why compare unity with other teachings? This is not the unity way, unless some earnest soul comes to you for an explanation of or light on some point. It is better to let others form their own conclusions. Pray for understanding for yourself. Get all your faculties and powers awake and working in perfect harmony. You will be busy enough without bothering about what others are doing. So I had reached out to this friend of mine and just basically said, I love you. I know you are more than this. I'm not sure why you felt it necessary to do this, but I just wanted you to know that I still love you, even though I really wish you didn't do this. And he and I had a really fantastic conversation over the week, actually. And he said, well, it's politics and it's, and it's true. I said, and you know that to be true. For sure, with fact checks, and you know your sources. Well, but people are saying it. Yeah, people say a lot of things. And I love you, and I know that you are better than posting vile things for other people to add fuel to fires. And we left it. It's still up. Our conversation is up. I've had conversation with other people because of it. It isn't about my changing anyone's view. Like Myrtle says, it isn't about us trying to make others see any specific truth that we are seeing. And if we love someone, and we see them falling into a trap of being vile and venomous, it isn't about me trying to change his mind. It's about me helping open his eyes about what he is feeding others with. For me. Like I said, I usually just let it go. Don't say a word. Walk by it and don't give it any additional energy. See, that's the thing. Energy, everything is energy. It's all energy. And so if you are giving energy to what you hate, we've said it before, any attention is good attention. If you are not for that person, why are you even putting their name out there? Why are you adding energy to the fight? Can we send peace? Can we send love? Can we open our eyes and know that ultimately everybody will walk the path they are here to walk? Ultimately, what we do or say, see, our actions, I've heard it before, your actions speak so loud I cannot hear what you are saying. That's kind of the way that I like to live, even though I talk so much. The way life goes, the way that I live my life, I hope, is the larger example and the louder conversation. Psalm 119:18 said, "Open my eyes that I may see wonderful things in your law." Isn't that a fascinating word, in your law? See, in unity, we don't see God as an old white guy sitting on a cloud somewhere pulling our strings. In unity, we see God as the allness of everything. We are within God. You cannot be outside of God. We are a part of God and all that God is. All that lacks sometimes is our awareness. The more we think we have to fix, the further away we are from our centered truth nature of Godness. The more we have to make it happen the way we want it to make, the further in fear we are. I know that sentence didn't quite make any sense. The further we are from making it what we want it to be. There we go. I knew there was a word in there. There is a universal law at work. God is that universal law. God is the outworking of divine mind into a mind of a person, into what manifests on the spirit, on the sense realm. It all comes from spirit. Romans 12:2 says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds, so that you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect." When we open our minds, when we open our heart, when we open our eyes, things change. I've said it before, and I'll probably say it another 1,000 times because I love this quote from Charles Fillmore, one of our co-founders. The quality of our lives is directly related to the thoughts we hold about other people. So, I try to keep a learner's mind. I try to make sure that I walk through this life knowing that I don't know everything. I don't even know a quarter of the pie. And it's funny, though, sometimes where we come up with beliefs that we hold really strongly sometimes. For instance, there is a very superstitious belief that if I open an umbrella indoors, yeah, right. So I try to keep a learner's mind all the time. And I learned something in here recently. In a recent Sunday morning, I started the service saying, just going to let you guys know that probably this whole service is going to be triggering. What did I do? Loaded the gun, handed it to everyone, and then asked everyone not to be triggered. In my learner's mind, I have learned that there are more skillful ways to dialogue things. I am working on that. It is always a work in progress. But there are also those ways we can open up and let go of things that don't serve us. I know there's a few people in here right now that are terrified I'm going to open this umbrella. And I didn't even have to say anything, did I? I just pulled out the umbrella and slightly let it move loosely. And I could feel the sphincter muscles tightening throughout the conversation, throughout the congregation. I didn't. So why are we so scared of opening umbrella indoors? I looked it up because I thought, it would be a perfect illustration this week to open an umbrella to talk about how things work best when they're open. This custom, this fear that some of us cling to, this superstition comes from ancient, a lot of different sources. The main ones are ancient gods. People thought that the ancient gods would be offended if someone opened an umbrella indoors, and that they would offend the gods because the gods would think that they weren't perceiving their protection as being enough. There's one. One of the biggest ones that holds fast and true is that the sun god Ra in ancient Egypt would be offended with someone trying to block the sun indoors, where Ra's natural light could only reach through windows. Why are we still afraid of this? It has nothing to do with actual people in the United States of America. There is one part of the fear that has a little bit to do with people in the United States that might be a little more practical. See, older umbrellas were really big and really kind of awkward. And so many people were afraid that if they opened an umbrella indoors, they would break something. That's practical. That led to people being afraid to open an umbrella indoors, thinking they would have bad luck or something would happen. How did we get there? There wasn't even Facebook at the time. Or Instagram, or TikTok. We get there because fear sells. Separation sells. Worry puts energy around things that make it a little more sensational than it is otherwise. Now, some of you may still be wondering if you might need to say a few prayers for me this week, because I've opened 2 umbrellas indoors. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that would have been perfect. I should have pulled the ladder out and walked underneath it as I was doing this. So I'm just going to go a little further and not tell you that I'm triggering you. What do these things do to us? See, I've used some different examples to ask people why they're triggered by what they're triggered by. I'm going to keep pulling out every example I can possibly think of that would push our buttons, that would send us into fear in this place, because we know that we come here to allow ourselves to see the things that we don't want to see. A parachute can't work if it's not open. The sun god Ra is not going to do anything to me this week because I opened umbrellas indoors. I have a black cat in my house that crosses my path at least 30 times every day. Where are we buying into superstition and division? Where are we not even knowing why we're feeling the way we're feeling? That person that we're continually triggered by, all they have to do is that one thing, and it just sends us right over the edge. Can we open our eyes? Can we open our heart? Can we open our mind instead of just going over the edge and say, what is it that bugs me about that? Because it's never the toilet paper being put on the roll the opposite way. I know it feels like it is. It does to me too. Oh my gosh. Doesn't it though? Oh, gotta fix it. Gotta put it the way yes. Now I will tell you, for those of us who like to be right, the patent for toilet paper is this way. And how right do we have to be how much of the time? How triggered do we have to be because the toilet paper is the other way? I live in a house where we have 2 people, 2 bathrooms, 2 ways of putting the toilet paper on. I used to live in a house that had 1 bathroom, and just the way the bathroom was situated, you had to turn the toilet paper so it would come out from under, just because it's the only way you could reach the way that it was situated. Every single party, every single gathering, I would go in after people left, and the toilet paper would be swapped. It's one of those universal things. So where are those places in us that we are holding a belief, that we are holding tightly, teeth clenched, jaws shut, hands gripped. We can't hold anything new with closed fists. If you want to be able to learn something, you have to be willing to open your hands, to open your eyes, to open your heart, to not have to have everything your way. This collective shadow that we are seeing playing out in wars in our world, in our political parties, having become so divisive that it's two teams. You vote for one or you vote for the other one, and you'll do anything you can to get your team to win. Stop it! The truth is so much bigger than all of it. The truth that is underneath is wider and larger and all-encompassing. We are all a part of God, every one of us. With our beautiful flaws and our different ways of doing things and our foibles and our prejudices, we are all a part of God. And unity and a belief in unity is an embracing of all. That's what unity does. So we move into these spaces where I'm going to bump up against the things that you are holding fast to. And I'm just going to ask you, and I'm just going to ask me, can we loosen our grip? Can we open the parachute and allow ourselves to be pulled upward to a more expansive view so that by the time we reach the ground again, you know, they say that once a mind expands, it can never go back to smaller to fill a smaller space. Can we let ourselves expand? Can we not fear what is different from us and just allow it to be different? Can we embrace those differences and, dare I say, maybe even learn something? Could be fun. If we live life with that learner's mind, always willing to be more skillful, always willing to be more open, more giving, more godness in our lives, we will find that everything will expand. Everything will expand. And the world will be better for it. Let's get busy living the truth we know and not having to make others wrong so that we can be right. And so it is.